My name is Louise Schatz, and I am with the League of Women Voters. I currently am the secretary of our local chapter. And I want to welcome you to the Lac de Flambeau Town Supervisor Candidates Forum, which is sponsored by the League of Women Voters and hosted by the Citizens for Education in Town Governance. And I want to thank all of you conscientious voters who are here to inform your viewpoints about important issues facing Lac de Flambeau and to hear firsthand from the town board candidates. The League of Women Voters of the Northwoods begins our forums with the League's mission statement, which I will quote. The League of Women Voters, a nonpartisan political organization, encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League of Women Voters' proud reputation stems from the fact that we are a grassroots, nonpartisan organization founded in 1920 to inform and empower newly eligible women voters when the 19th Amendment to the Constitution gave women the right to vote. The League's 100th anniversary is coming. The League of Women Voters is now an organization open to both men and women, and we have quite a few male members in our local chapter. I must explain that up front that unfortunately the chairperson and treasurer portions of this forum had to be canceled. Press releases to that effect were sent out on March 13th and March 18th. The reason for these cancellations is as follows. All of the candidates for town chair, supervisor, and treasurer were notified by telephone about the proposed date for the forum during the last week in January and were sent invitations to participate via mail on February 20th. The incumbent town chair declined participation on March 9th due to a prior family commitment, which left Carl Edwards as the only chairperson candidate about to be present. While incumbent treasurer Irene Messinger initially confirmed her participation, she withdrew on March 18th for unexpected private reasons. This left Stacy Stone as the only treasurer candidate able to be present. These two absences created a so-called empty chair debate, which runs contrary to the guidelines of the National League of Women Voters, which was developed over the past 100 years regarding league-sponsored candidate forums. It also brought into play that we are subject to compliance with federal agency regulations, including the Federal Elections Commission, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Internal Revenue Service. I would like to say, however, that our state league membership has noticed that this issue has come up several times in the state, and the topic of the empty chair debate or empty chair forum is going to be brought up at our national meeting. So it's possible that there will be some changes to that procedure. But most importantly, our league adheres to the principle that there must be fair and impartial treatment of all candidates, with nothing that promotes or advances one candidate over another. One of the major services we offer in our communities is sponsorship of candidate forums prior to local elections. We regret these cancellations, but want to maintain a reputation for fairness. So now we will proceed with the opportunity for you to inform your votes for 2 of the 4 candidates for Lac de Flambeau Town Supervisors in the April 2nd election. Absent are the incumbent, Chris Mayer, who did not respond, and William McCutcheon, who declined on March 18th in order to visit a seriously ill friend recently admitted to hospice care who lives down south. Welcome to the candidates who are present, Gloria Cobb and William Stone Sr. William, do you want to be addressed as Bill? I see that your name tag says Bill, so we will now refer to you that way. We appreciate the candidates' willingness to stand for public office and work on behalf of their fellow citizens all the days between those elections. We recognize that the candidates may not be professionally coached, highly groomed politicians like we see on national TV. But you are our neighbors, and you are offering to serve. And thank you for that. In a political environment in which decision-making is becoming more remote and being thrust upon citizens by faraway lawmakers and bureaucrats, it is refreshing to know that grassroots local leadership remains strong in Wisconsin's town governments. So candidates, take a deep breath and simply tell us about your qualifications, your ideas, plans, and answer our questions about how you would govern. The procedure that we will be using. First of all, any audio or video recording of this forum by anyone not authorized by the League is prohibited, including via cell phone. So please turn off your cell phones so that we don't have phones ringing during this event. We have authorized Kim Swisher Communications to upload the video recording of the forum in its entirety to the Lac de Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Chippewa Indians weekly e-newsletter and Facebook page. The video will also be accessible on our League's website and on our YouTube video channel. We have also authorized the Citizens for Education in Town Government to upload an audio recording of the forum in its entirety to their website. We will begin with opening statements. We typically allow only 90 seconds for each candidate to tell us about his or her background, qualifications, and reasons for running, and what he or she considers the most important issues facing the town. Because of today's format, we are extending this time to 2 minutes. This will be answered by audience questions. 60 seconds is usually allowed for these responses, but that will also be extended to 2 minutes today. And we will finish with closing statements. 60 seconds for each candidate to summarize why people should vote for him or her will also be extended to 2 minutes. To the candidates, I will rotate the order of response by candidates so that the same candidate is not asked to answer first in each round. Please feel free to ask me to repeat any questions. Our intrepid timers here in the front row will signal you with an orange card when you have 30 seconds left, and a red card when your time is up. Regretfully, they'll tell you, but firmly they will compel you to stop, please. Occasionally, I will use the moderator's right to extend the time allowed for each candidate's response if it's warranted. For example, if a question has several parts to it. I also maintain the right to ask a follow-up question if a response is vague, unclear, or too general. Audience members are also free to submit follow-up questions in writing to the volunteers helping today. And we have Bob. Bob, if you raise your hand, Bob will come and pick up your question and get it to our question sorters. Today, Yo and Petra have taken the questions that you have submitted, sorted them as to their the category or the topic that they are covering, and compiling them so that we don't ask the same question over and over. When speaking, the candidates are expected to refrain from personal attacks and to adhere to the time limits. If an audience question is directed to a particular candidate, other candidates will be given the opportunity to respond to the question also. If a candidate makes reference to a candidate who has already spoken to a certain question, the latter will have an opportunity to respond for 30 seconds. So, we will get started with the opening statements. And Gloria, we'll let you go first with your 2-minute opening statement.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Gloria Cobb, and I'm a lifelong resident of Lac du Flambeau. I have 2 children, both of whom are growing up in Lac du Flambeau. My daughter currently is attending or is working in Green Bay. My son is going to Mercer, and like I said, I'm a lifelong resident. I have worked fresh from high school in my home community, and I've held several different hats professionally in my working career, but what makes me a candidate for here is I have a variety of experience. I've sat on the county board for Vilas for 2 terms, and I served on several of their committees, law enforcement, advertising. My longest career is in tourism, where we were promoting Lac du Flambeau as a tourism destination. So a lot of my professional is in service-oriented. So with that, I realize we need the people. Without individuals' input, we can't make change or make things better. We can't make adjustments. I really want to make a more enhanced Lac du Flambeau. Not that we don't have it going on right now, I just want to make improvements. I want to see improvements as far as communication, and I don't see that happening. I don't see communication happening within the dual government, and I'd like to open those lines of communication. And I mean, when we work together, we accomplish more. By working solo, it takes us a longer time to meet our end goal. But thank you, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to speak before you.
Thank you. Bill.
Hi, good morning, everybody. William Stone, people know me as Bill. I lived here pretty much all my life, 41 years. Went to the old grade school where the casino is now, graduated out of Lakeland. 23 years I've been working at the casino in the gaming field. I've been married 19 years to my wife, Stacy. We have a daughter, 23, my son, 16. He goes to Lakeland, and we're like pulled in every direction for sports with him. We're like busy. I've served on the police commission for our tribe, the cultural committee. I was a vice president, foster care license, and then I serve on the panel for Vilas County. One of the main concerns while I was running was just communication issues. Just wanted to see people work together for like community parks, hiking trails, cell service, natural resource management, just environmental threats on the reservation. That's pretty much.
Thank you. Okay, the first question we have from our visitors or our voters, and Bill, we'll pose this one to you first. Can you explain what the duties and responsibility of a town supervisor is? What are the duties and responsibilities of town supervisors?
Just to oversee the government of the town, make sure the funds and resources are managed correctly, just to improve the quality of life for all LEF residents.
Okay, do you have any specifics you'd like to add to that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Gloria?
First and foremost, you have the technical role of a town supervisor, which, like Bill said, the position is gonna preside over the meetings and make an informed vote on issues that come before the town. More importantly, I think the town supervisor goes much more beyond that. It's someone who's gonna listen to the community and take the time to do their homework on not only issues that they have favorites, but even on issues that they may not agree with, but they have to make an informed decision, because they're deciding for not only themselves, but for the residents, the community. So I think we need to listen, and we need to go out more and interact with the community, because from what I see, not a lot of community members go to the town board. So we need to get the word out on what issues we're facing, whether it's natural resources, cell towers, the budget. You know, there's a lot of people at the budget meetings, but it goes beyond that in order for Lac du Flam to be successful.
Okay, thank you. This next question is a little more specific. And Gloria, you will go first on this one. How can the town board empower communication with other agencies and the public?
By opening up a dialogue, by reaching out, if it's the tribe, by contacting President Wildcat and saying, you know, can we sit down? If it's the chairman, can I sit down and, you know, there's a few issues that come up and I'd like to network with you on how we can work together. We may not always agree, but at some form you have to have at least open those lines of communication, so I understand where someone else is, and we may not be on the same page, but it's an education process. We can still not agree at the end of the day, but it's to inform and educate each other. I mean, really, that's the only way that Lac du Flambeau is going to continue growing with the dual government, is to start talking to each other.
Okay, thank you. And Bill, can you be specific about how the town will communicate better with other agencies in the community?
Sure, just to knock down the barriers and the walls of just communication and collaboration is one of the main things, I think, because right now they don't even reach out to the tribal government. I don't know if they reach out to the county government, but just that part is a big barrier I see.
Specifically, do you have an idea as to how you would make that happen?
Community involvement, reaching out to either the tribal government, town government, the county government, state government, just get involved with it. Right now, I don't see anybody really doing that on the town government.
Okay. Again, this next question is asking for you to be specific. And Bill, first, how can town government be more accessible to the people?
Be involved in the community, be out in the community, show your face, don't be scared, don't hide, and that's just being out in the community.
And
Make yourself
where would you be
visible.
out in the community? Can you be specific about what you would do?
Community events, volunteering, having community input sessions, just get your community involved is the big thing.
Okay. Gloria?
The tribe holds public hearings throughout the year. So one way, and some of those hearings are issues that impact the 12 square miles. That would be one avenue where the town government could come and have a voice or have an opinion. There's so many socials that go on that I tag as a social that where, unfortunately it took a death for that to happen recently, where I did see a public official, okay? It shouldn't have to take a death for me to see a public official. So we have individual tribal members have socials or have fundraisers that are community oriented. There's events that go on at the library that are community driven that there's no input from our town elected officials. So, I mean, like I said, there's an opportunity. Those are just some of the examples. The events that happen here at the school. There's, they have tournaments. There's tournaments that happen here that aren't specifically sponsored by the tribe, but maybe by an individual group or by the school that it involves the community. Let's come here together. We've got to agree to come together.
Thank you. This next question you have been alluding to, but again, we're looking for some specific answers. What should the relationship between the town government and the tribal government be? How should they relate to one another?
Respectfully. They need to be respectful that when representing the town, that's their capacity. And likewise, it goes back, respect goes both ways. But that's not going to happen unless you extend that invitation to come and sit before me and, what is Lac du Flambeau, what is the tribe facing today, what's going on this week, opening that, picking up the phone. There was some recent collaboration and it was exciting to see just recently here, and it was where the town and the tribe collaborated on the recent snowstorm. The tribal roads and the town roads collaborated to make sure our roads were open, for safety, so that if we had to have an ambulance come through, and it didn't matter whether whose property it was, those two entities worked together. And I think there could be much more of that happening. So like I said, that was just an example.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Bill, what could you add?
Could you repeat the question?
Okay. What should the relationship between town government and tribal government be? How should the governments relate to each other?
Just teamwork, I guess. Work together and collaborate just to improve the quality of life for everybody in Lac du Flambeau.
Can either of you propose a way that would start that or make it go forward?
Just a communication dialogue, start reaching out to, have the town reach out to the tribe more often. I don't even see that go on.
There could be a joint meeting between the town and the tribe and have common agendas, or even it's just one agenda item. How can we work better together? There could be a strategic planning session between town government and tribal government on better collaboration, better communication. The town government could start putting their notices. I'm sure the e-newsletter that the tribe puts out would gladly welcome, because it's a community newsletter. Okay, it's not, yes, the tribe does it, but it's community oriented. So, that would be another way that we would get the town government information out. But I think it begins by sitting down in the same room and starting to say, what are we both facing? How can we make things better? There's going to be items that the town and the tribe may not agree on, but you don't know that until you sit down.
Thank you. I lost track of who went first. Did you go first on that last one, Bill? I think
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think you did.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Gloria this time. As town supervisor, what are your plans to strengthen the relationship between the town of Lac du Flambeau and the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Indians? I think we pretty much covered that.
Well, I guess,
add to that?
And I don't want to repeat myself, but you have you put one straw there, and it's only so strong. You put a group of straws, and it's a little bit stronger. So the more, whether it's town government and community residents, we all need to work together. And it's not just a government decision. Like I said, we have to, as an elected official, whether you're tribal or town, we have to do our homework to make the best informed decision for everybody in our 12 square miles.
Bill?
So expand on your question again?
It was, how much can we do together? No, that wasn't it. As a supervisor, what are your plans to strengthen the relationship between the town of Lac du Flambeau and the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Indians?
So just, not to repeat myself again, is just the communication issues and reaching out. I've served on the council for my second term this year. Just the knowings of how tribal government works. The people that serve on there, they're pretty easygoing. You can pretty much approach them and open up dialogues for communication pretty much with anybody up there.
Bill, what types of economic development would you concentrate on to enhance the community?
Recently, the Lac du Flambeau was given the hub zone opportunity, I believe. I think it's the opportunity zone we were designated as. So just to expand on to more economic diversification would be a good plan for our future, to work with the tribe and expand in numerous areas.
Do you have any specific examples of economic improvements that might be made?
Right now, I think the tribe got a grant. They're going to be building a training center over here for job training. And I think that would be a good opportunity for the town to step in and grab people from our reservation, our Lac du Flambeau residents, and expand on maybe even like a joint fire department, ambulance, just buildings that we could be expanding on.
Okay. Gloria?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What types of economic development would you concentrate on to enhance the community?
Well, like Bill had said, Lac du Flambeau is looking at being a hub zone or an opportunity zone for tax credit purposes. So if a business were to expand to Lac du Flambeau, they'd be afforded those tax credits. That's one area. I mean, you could, we've got Simpson Electric here that's been here, since the 60s, and we could expand that business. Instead, the meters are popular, but I think if done right, we could make Simpson's bigger and better, in the plastics industry, in the meters industry. We just talked about, going to a target market of the railroads for the meters. Then I look back and I put my tourism hat on and I look at small business development. And with gaming here, we're gonna have visitors, and a way to control them is through tourism. There's so many opportunities within tourism for the small business that visitors to the reservation want to feel what it's like with Native Americans. They want to touch the beadwork. They want authenticity, from the wild rice to the maple syrup to the crafts. So I've thought long when I was working in tourism is if we could run an arts and crafts cooperative by original artists here, and we could buy from other original artists, and that would expand, and that opens up for individuals to help provide for their family in that service industry. So I mean, with Simpsons here, people do manufacturing, maybe it's another manufacturing. I know years ago we had St. Croix Rod here, which is similar to manufacturing, but there's anything's possible, but you have to get together and find out what the community is looking for. I got the red card.
Thank you. You got the red card. Did it hurt?
No, it didn't. I was done.
Okay. Gloria, should the town board be involved in protecting natural resources? And if so, how should the board be involved?
Absolutely. If we don't protect our land or our water and our air, there's not going to be a lac de Flambeau. You know, the tribe actually has higher standards than the state does. For that reason, like I said, I'm not here making decisions for me today. It's our future generations. And if we don't start looking at natural resources now, our future generations, what are we going to leave them? You know, shame on us. But a way, again, is opening and collaborating with, sitting down with our Tribal Natural Resources Department and finding out where they're at. You know, I don't know if the Lac de Flambeau has about 23 sites that are contaminated from underground storage tanks. Those are issues that the tribe are trying to deal with, where there's not enough funding going around. But it's not just tribal land. It's the reservation, and if we don't start to take care of that now, there won't be any, clean water. We won't be able to go swimming in the lakes in the summertime. You see how clear our lakes are compared to 12 miles, down to Minocqua. They're green, but yet we can still swim here. So absolutely, we have to start working together.
Bill, how would you do that?
I guess Lac de Flambeau is known for its culture, history, mostly its natural resources, the character of this community. So just not to repeat Gloria's information, but yeah, the 23 lust sites in Lac de Flambeau has a huge impact on our natural resources, and I don't think that anybody's been advertising or letting it be known that there's these sites that need to be cleaned up. It's affecting a lot of our waterways and wetlands.
Okay, the question said, if you believe it's important, how would the town board be involved?
Right now I don't see them getting involved in too much of natural resources besides the lakes committees, but just expanding on that and maybe even getting an environmental committee together and work with the tribe and coming up with ideas of cleaning up these sites.
Okay. Bill, how do you propose to resolve the tribal versus town road issue?
Right now we have attorneys working on that, so we really don't get involved like individually. We just, when a meeting is like called to order, then decisions are made. But right now our attorneys are kind of handling that.
Would you describe what the issue is?
With the roads, like ownership or right-of-ways, or
What is the tribal versus town road issue?
there's
what
like
are
a
the-
few of them. There's right-of-ways, there's easement issues, ownership issues. It's all being sorted out with our attorneys right now.
Okay. Gloria?
Like Bill said, the issues are the easements and the ownership, but the town, as a community member, and I believe in both the integrity of the town government and the tribe, and any decisions, I'm not going to jeopardize that, okay? But currently, the tribe and the town, they are meeting and discussing this. They need to continue to do that. They need to continue to collaborate in a positive way that works for the betterment of our community, okay? It's something that's already in the process, and, as far as they're going to continue to do that. Like I said, the snowstorm, they worked together, so that's a small step, and it was a roads issue, and they worked together and they pulled through that. But continuing to having the open dialogue, being respectful on an issue that it is sensitive, but the work is already, the doors have already been opened, and they need to continue to do that, again, for the betterment of the community.
Okay, thank you. Gloria, what is your top priority for the town board?
I think it's been the what I've said here is communication. By offering that handout and saying, let's sit down and talk, I think all issues that come to mind could be covered. But you have to open those lines of communication first. You have to pick up that phone and maybe not be so stubborn, or want to be educated on each other. And that goes both ways. The President Wildcat could also extend that hand. But that's where it has to start. Without that, we're still going to be here and here. Okay, and maybe work together a little bit on these other issues, and that is a small step, because we do work together, on issues. After the communication lines are opened, I think we talked about it. Our natural resources, maintaining our identity. Lac du Flambeau growing up when I was little was booming. I want to see that again. I want my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren to have safe drinking water, okay? I want to be able for them to enjoy to enjoy the outdoors, and to be able to go fishing and not have to worry about, pulling in that perch that has mercury contaminated in it. We have issues that we need to address now on that.
Okay, thank you. Bill, your top priority for the town board?
Well, I kind of got two topics that run side by side, and one of them is the communication barriers that the town has with the tribe, and alongside that is just community input and allowing the town residents and Lac du Flambeau residents in general just to be heard, to have an open door policy, to not hold your meetings to 7 minutes and goodbye, see ya, and at least engage with your community members.
Thank you. Next question goes to you first, Bill. Within the confines of the open meetings law, would you advocate for citizen input as a permanent agenda item at all town board meetings?
Yes, I believe that's an important issue, and I actually stated that in my Lakeland Times questionnaire that was published, I believe, last month. That's one of the topics I believe needs to be a standing agenda item on it.
And Gloria?
Absolutely. We have to hear from the community in order to know what other issues out there. If going out in the community, you can hear so much, but the community a community member has every right to express their concern or their idea, and we as elected officials have that responsibility to listen to the residents, listen to our community.
Okay. Going along with meeting operation, would you support changing board meeting time to 6 p.m.?
Me?
Gloria first.
Yes, I would. I think we'd have to exhaust all opportunities, whether it's changing meeting times, so that we're getting a full rounded input from the community. We'd have to be open, to maybe perhaps other times. We'd have to be flexible and to say, okay, maybe certain meetings are held this, or we start doing public information sessions where we can invite the community at large. And if it has to be, 2 public information sessions during the day at different times to accommodate, those that are working, those that have different shifts, absolutely, because this is like I said, first and foremost, we have to listen to the community.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah, I would be open to changing to different meeting times. Right now, on the tribal government side, we run into the same issues, and we really don't get too much community involvement. So I would be open to holding different times.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on a 5-member board?
I'm in favor. I believe more input from members is a good thing. I wouldn't keep it at a 3-member, but I'm just That's my opinion.
Gloria?
I'm in favor of it. You run into a situation if, say the current members are out to dinner and they don't know and they happen to walk into the same place, technically that constitutes a meeting. And so, I mean, just for that reason alone, I would gladly welcome a 5-member board. You know, and there's strength in numbers. You know, there's 5-member boards then to go back out, or 5-member then to go back out into the community, and you know, that's 2 more talking to constituents, 2 more getting the activities of the town board out in the community, and also therefore getting the ideas from the community members. So absolutely, I would fully support a 5-member board.
Okay. And Gloria, first to you. What role does the town or tribe play in areas of parks, library, holiday celebrations like the 4th of July, and fish stocking of area lakes? There's quite a few categories covered there. You want to tackle the parks, the library first?
Sure. What role you're asking?
What role? How do the tribe and the town relate to both of those issues? Who's in charge?
Right now the tribe is in charge of our parks. Okay. The library funding comes from the town. Okay, but those are public entities. Everybody should be involved. You know, there's room for collaboration. The library, like I said, holds certain events, reading sessions that's open to the community. The parks are open to everybody. They're not town or tribal specific, and you know, it's when people make them tribal specific, that's kind of irritating because it's it's open to everybody. Mm-hmm. So, and it doesn't need to be tribal or town related, but those are definitely areas that they could collaborate on.
And what about the 4th of July?
4th of July, again, it's a holiday, it's a community event. The more the merrier, absolutely. I think you know, there's strength in numbers when you work together, bigger, you know, good ideas. They could share in different areas as far as coordinating the cleanup. I mean, they do it now. I mean, they do it now with, you know, the fire station, you know, comes in with the trucks and the ambulances. You know, the tribal police department comes in there. You know, planning organizes all the floats. You know, it's not just the town. There's other townships that come to the 4th of July parade. So advertising, marketing.
Okay. And what about fish stocking of the lakes?
Fish stocking right now, the tribe handles. And I guess the town could get involved by promoting that, to saying, hey, you know, this is happening in our community. The Lac du Flambeau tribe, you know, puts out X amount of fingerlings into our area lakes. There could be marketing and advertising, and the collaboration, at least the town then would support. By them acknowledging that, it's showing support and collaboration and unification that, you know, the Lac du Flambeau Reservation or the Lac du Flambeau town are working together.
Okay, thank you. Bill, let's go back to the parks and library. What role does the town and the tribe play, and how do you see it in the future?
Right now, our parks are maintained by the Lac du Flambeau Parks and Rec Department. I don't believe the town plays any role in it right now, but just partnership and collaboration, I believe they could expand on parks, hiking trails, biking trails. They could network with other communities that join their bike trails or hiking trails.
Okay, and what about the 4th of July?
I believe the town does a pretty good job with their fire department and their ambulances, and just they put on a pretty good show, I believe.
Okay, and what about the fish stocking?
The fish stocking, right now the Lac du Flambeau fish hatchery pretty much handles all that. But I believe the town could step up and get involved in some type of natural resource plan where they could give money to possibly grow fingerlings or walleye, stock the lakes, just to promote tourism, and our natural resources is pretty much an attraction for northern Wisconsin here.
Okay. This question first to you, Bill. What are your thoughts about residents keeping a clean standard in regards to their yard in the Lac du Flambeau community? In surrounding communities, they set standards, and residents who do not abide by these standards are fined. What do you see as happening here?
On the travel side right now, we have our land management department processes letters and warnings for people to clean up here. So I think it's a good idea. Just keep our area clean here.
For the town?
Yes.
And Gloria?
I think it's a good idea. As I stated before, we're stewards of the land. We need to protect our natural resources, and, it starts at home. So, and like Bill had said, our land management is, has their plan in place for the upkeep of land that's leased, but also our housing authority has the same standards. And as far as renters from Chippewa Housing Authority, they're required to maintain their yard to a certain standard as well. So yes, I think we could go beyond that. There's ideas. Other towns have, challenges as far as who's got the best yards, or, who's got the best holiday lights. Those are areas that, again, it's relationship building. And I do agree. We are, everyone, not just the tribe, every community resident are stewards of the land. We have an obligation to protect our natural resources.
Okay. And this is the last question before your closing statements. And first to you, Gloria. What is the major strength that you would bring to the town board?
My commitment. My introduction indicated that I'm a lifelong resident, and I have lived and worked into this community since I was 18 years old, just a tad bit older than Bill. And I'm dedicated to this community, regardless of what position I hold. My children have lived here, and I hope to raise, my grandchildren here. And just the dedication that I've had professionally in my working career. But this is my home, and I want to take care of it. And there's no place like home, and it's, like I said, my obligation to protect it and to look out into the best interest and to make those decisions in the best interest of the entire community. And we're all residents. We all have to live together, and let's work together to make that happen. I can't do it by myself. I can make certain changes and stuff, but it takes a community to make change happen. And I'm looking forward to at least leading the community to helping enhance and expand the wonderful opportunities that Lac du Flambeau has.
Thank you. And Bill, what is your major strength? Okay, I'm the one who said, let's turn off our cell phones. That's funny. I planned that. It's good I'm not running for any office. Bill?
Yes.
Would you like that question repeated? Okay. What is the major strength that you would bring to the town board?
Just the love for our community, just the character that we stand out for, and the openness that I have for individuals of our tribe. I would extend that into the town residents.
Okay, now, as your last opportunity to speak to those who have assembled here today and those who will be seeing the video or reading the Lakeland Times, You each have 2 seconds for a closing statement. Against you.
Goodbye.
Hi,
Well, I was
goodbye.
in a hurry to answer my phone. So we'll make it 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to summarize why people should vote for you. And Bill, you may go first.
Sure. As I stated earlier in my opening statement, just the culture, the history, the natural resources that I care for, and just being a leader for our community is, and giving back and seeing the growth of our community is one of the things that I look forward to and appreciate. So that's pretty much.
Okay.
Okay?
I have hope, and my HOPE acronym stands for that it's heartfelt. You know, I have a belonging to this community, and I have the best interests of this community in my heart, okay? Opportunities. There's opportunities for growth. There's opportunity to learn about each other. There's opportunities to educate one another and become a thriving Lac du Flambeau community. People. In order to make any of this happen, we need the people, we need the residents to come together and to understand each other, and last of all, everyone. It benefits everyone by working together. You know, Ken Blanchard said it best, none of us is as smart as all of us, but I appreciate, I look forward to the opportunity, and please vote April 2nd. Just get out and vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, we want to thank the 2 of you for participating in this forum, and also thank the Citizens for Education in Town Government and Kim Swisher Communications for doing the videotaping. We would like to recognize the 2 candidates who agreed to participate in the forum and express our disappointment that you could not be included in our part of the forum. If you are in the audience, and I believe you both are, would you please stand to be recognized? First of all, Stacy Stone, the candidate for treasurer, and Carl Edwards, candidate for town chair. Immediately following this forum, there will be a short break, and then a different forum, actually sponsored by those 2 candidates, will take part, or will happen, so that they can make their case to the public. I ask that you all please complete the evaluation form. It's the little half sheet of paper that you received. That is for the League of Women Voters, so that we can assess our procedures and what we are doing. And I also would like you all to vote on April 2nd or earlier at the Lac du Flambeau Town Office. And don't forget to bring your photo ID when you vote. Thank you very much. There will be a round of applause for our